Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Christopher Roberts. Joining me now, he is from Miami, Florida. He is a certified associate life coach. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Ryan McClellan to the program. Ryan, welcome. How are you today?
Thank you for having me. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for asking, and thanks for taking a few minutes out of your day to join us. We appreciate it.
Perfect. Is the session okay? I was told it was kind of choppy. I want to make sure everything's good to go.
It still is, but we'll try to get through it. Welcome
okay.
to the. Why don't you start us off? Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay. I became a life coach in 2010. Kind of got. Long story short, I realized at that age, and I was young, a little bit naive, and I said, okay, I'm going to be a psychologist without the degree. Without the degree, I ended up going to school now and majoring in psychology, all that, and getting through that. But as a life coach, from 2010 onward, became certified and kind of branched out into different areas. Started off with the basics, which was, personal development, self-esteem, assertiveness, leadership. And then in around 2016, around that time, I realized I did a guest lecture at FSU, and they kind of pointed out a lot of these issues that students are facing, stress, substance abuse, time management. So that kind of became my focus in 2016. And that really, kind of helped me figure out my own goals as well. I also do consulting for small businesses. That's the newest improvement. And multimedia startups are the main one. I've helped about 100 businesses open their doors. And lucky for me, about 92% are still running. So I'm happy about that. And last but not least, there's career guidance. I try to help counsel individuals trying to figure out what jobs they need to be, they're qualified for exactly. So it's vocational counseling in that sense.
Alrighty. So, what kind of background does somebody need to be able to do what you do?
There is a lot of training, there's certifications, but I like to call it the life coaching industry, kind of like the wild, wild west industry. It's really kind of broad, open-ended. Anybody can kind of just go ahead and say they're a life coach. Really what it comes down to is first step is realize you're good at advice. If you're not good at giving advice or giving a specific market advice, you're not going to get anywhere. It doesn't matter if you're certified, if you're trained. You need to have a background in, understanding the psychology of how the person works, the atmosphere of communication, being able to speak with someone properly. If you don't have that, you're not going to make it anywhere. And after that, you go through the motions, kind of try the training experience, which I have found a little abstract, but it gets you the certifications, and from there it's as simple as setting up a business and kind of getting things going. And at that point, you market yourself. But a lot of life coaches specialize in a niche industry. That's something I kind of disagree with, but it really means focusing on one specific aspect of life coaching rather than saying I'm going to help everybody. Instead, you choose to say, I'm going to help teach study skills coaching or time management coaching, leadership coaching, and that really helped me, especially when I started working with students, because I became a student life coach more so rather than saying I'm going to help everybody. It's possible. You could be so good at advice that you could help just about any situation, but it is good to have kind of a credential in a certain area. That's why I ended up with the associate certified coach, which was through the ICF, and they kind of guided me into realizing that, the niche market, focusing on one specific type of person, kind of helps out a lot.
Alrighty. Now, when somebody reaches out to you for the first time, what do you think you see the most of? What's most dominant?
Oh, God. I see, for the most part, I see stress. I work with a lot of business owners, and the main factor I would say from a person as an individual, someone who's, just getting through the day, the biggest worry they have is stress. A lot of people are under stress, and the best way to go about dealing with that is, reducing the stress. That's part of the equation. Majority of it is finding a reasonable solution to understanding what the stress comes from. That's where, the psychology end of things comes from. It helps a lot, because then you're able to explain to that person exactly what is causing the stress, and from there you kind of isolate the problem. It's depending on the person, it really it could vary from anybody. A lot of people suffer from different mental disorders, different mental, emotional backgrounds, and, I kind of specialize in that because I come from a background of that too. I'm not afraid to say, I had, I did my time in multiple therapy sessions. At 15, I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and, I guess that kind of became a central focus for me as well, was mental health counseling, because that was imperative to me understanding myself. It was kind of a know thy enemy kind of a situation, where by understanding how other people are relating to that, I was able to help myself relate to it.
Alrighty. So now, why do you think your clients choose you over someone else out there? What sets you apart?
What sets me apart? That's a good question. I guess it would be the psychological aspect of things. It's understanding psychology is a big undertaking. A lot of life coaches, and no matter what they say, not to bash anybody, but majority of them, I would say about 90% of them are just people who can give good advice or are trained to give good advice. But if you don't understand how someone thinks, you're not really going to get anywhere. You're going to see business, but you're not going to see repeat customers. And 90% it's about 90% harder to find a new customer than it is to keep a new one. So my approach is kind of along the lines of, number one, pricing. That's the main one. I'm based on a subscription model rather than, account. Most life coaches, they say $600 for 5 sessions or something like that. And, that got stale with me for a while. And I decided, and I'm actually putting an app together as we speak. It's being developed, where it's kind of like a subscription model. When I started, here's the funny part. I ended up kind of going with the methodology of, okay, well, if I don't help you in any way, don't pay me. If I save your life, give me your life savings. Kind of like a incentive program, where it was kind of like, okay, well, if I can't help you, don't stick around with me. I'm not going to be any good for you, because maybe another life coach can help you, or maybe you need a therapist, maybe you need something more than that. But what sets me apart is the pricing, as well as I always try to focus on the fact that there's psychological factors behind every issue that someone comes from. As an example, stress. Okay, well, then you have to dive deeper into what's causing that stress, the chemicals that cause stress. And I think that expertise in that initial session is really what sets me apart from everybody else, because without that key aspect, and that's why I think life coaching is, where I belong in and where I've been and how far I've gotten, is because I understand how people think. That also helps with the marketing aspect of things. So I guess in the long run, people choose me over others, or maybe just choose me, period, because I tend to take initiative. I'd rather spend 3 hours on the phone or via Skype or in person with someone and charge them $50 than I would, overcharging somebody. Because, that's not fair to them. That's not, and it doesn't seem ethical to me. Someone's getting advice, and it doesn't seem reasonable to ask for too much money when you're really just dealing with someone's, this is someone's mental well-being or their emotional well-being. And that really clicks with me, because I've been there. And that experience, and, being open-minded about things, disclosing to people, yes, I went through what you're going through, that kind of really sets the stage for a second visit or a third visit or a fourth visit. And that's about it. It's not as hard as it sounds. It's just a lot of people make it complicated.
Alrighty. Well, how can my audience reach out and contact you to find out more information?
Absolutely. They could go to valiancecoaching.org. My email is ryan@valiancecoaching.org. Everything's on there. The website, it could use some work, but it's got all the features there. It's good to go. And they could also call me. The number, it would be 305-714-9965. I'm also on LinkedIn. Find me, add me, and send me a message.
Alrighty. Well, it's been a pleasure having you on the show today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You have a good.
You do the same. And for everyone else out there, do stick around. We will be right back.
Ladies and gentlemen.